Hi everybody, my name is Monika and I'm a qualified energy psychology and transformation coach, helping people to reprogram their unconscious limiting beliefs for what they want instead in their lives. I have now coached over 30 clients who have had phenomenal results in a very short space of time because I work mostly with the subconscious level of the mind that controls over 95% of our body biology, of our mental thoughts, programs, habits, and therefore it's much easier and faster to achieve real tangible results once you sort of reprogram the limiting beliefs, restrictions, and the unconscious sort of habits that don't serve you, if you reprogram them within your subconscious mind. In today's video, I want to talk about a question from one of my viewers who has asked whether your twin flame can be a narcissist. And contrary to a widespread sort of information all over the web stating that it can't be true, that your twin cannot be a narcissist. If he is a narcissist, then it's not your twin flame, it's likely to be a karmic relationship, and so on and so forth. Well, there are quite a few important points I want to address in this video, so stay tuned and please do let me know in the comments if you have any follow-up questions that you'd like me to answer, as I will be looking through those comments and getting kind of ideas for next videos. So let's get straight into it. So the point number one that I will want to address in this video is this. Every single one of us going through the twin flame journey, twin flame experience, will have a very specific to you lessons on your journey. And I would like to make you aware of a few things to help you kind of expand your own consciousness awareness and really help you shape your own beliefs around what is true for you, what really resonates with you. So a lot of the people out there, including twin flames who united, are preaching to people that their way is the only way, that's the path, that's the standard template that every twin flame should follow. And if you're not doing what they are doing, you're doing something wrong. I can't stand this behavior because it's so contradicting the very idea of who twin flames are. We are here to create new templates. We are here to break down the boundaries. We are here to heal ourselves, help other people heal. We are here to expand our own consciousness as well as consciousness of other people and raise the love vibration on the planet, the vibration of acceptance, the vibration of allowing each other to have our own experiences, supporting one another, and really believing in one another. So if you hear in many other twin flame videos saying, oh, I have united with my twin flame, therefore you have to do the same, and if you're not doing that, you're doing something wrong, just click away. I mean, it's a lot of nonsense, and it makes me really upset because I know from my personal experience and also from listening to many of my clients, if you're a genuine twin flame, if you are going through this experience, especially in the early stages, you want nothing more than to be in a harmonious union with your beloved. And there is so much stuff out there around how you should follow certain path, how you should sort of just choose them, and sometimes it doesn't work because very often you have to really go through the journey and start connecting with your own power to assess what is it that is true for you, what is it that this journey is teaching you. And this journey is really your fast track to ascension. Without a shadow of a doubt, if you have met a genuine mirror of your soul who will reflect back to you all that is unhealed within you, you will be pushed through a hell of a journey to face your own shadows, to heal and reprogram limiting beliefs, to face childhood traumas that you long buried in your unconscious mind. And it is, this whole process is not easy. It's very brutal. It can be very painful, and it requires a lot of courage, determination, and commitment to yourself, that you will push through this, that you will heal, and you will come out the other end a better person, because your twin flame is really mirroring to you, like I said, everything that is unhealed within you. And the reason why they are doing it is that they're not doing it to hurt you. They are doing it so that you can release all that, ascend, and really liberate yourself from all those painful, traumatic memories of the past. A lot of the twin flames have chosen to incarnate into very toxic families, and we have chosen that at the soul level for 3 reasons. The reason number 1, so just so that we experience it, we understand it through and through, how damaging and difficult and toxic some of the family relationships and behaviors can be. So that's reason number 1, because the sheer experience will give you so much wisdom to know what it feels like, to understand it through and through, and also to moving on to the second reason, to understand how you can heal it within you, which is really important. A lot of the twin flames have gone through hell in their childhood. I have coached many twin flame clients who have had literally childhoods from hell, including myself. And anything from abuse, mental, emotional, physical, even sexual abuse, like horrific stories and situations that young children have been exposed to, toxic, long-term emotional bullying and abuse that has gone on in their childhood. And it's really sad, but the truth is that every twin flame is an enormously powerful soul, and we have chosen this for a reason, to basically gain all that knowledge, awareness, and understanding, so that we can then heal it within ourselves, which is the second reason. And then potentially, if this is something that really speaks to you, that you feel is part of your purpose, you will then be guided to start helping other people heal. It has very much been the case with my story and my journey. As soon as I have completed my energy psychology and coaching qualifications, I've actually had people knocking on my door. I've had twin flames literally approaching me out of the blue, asking me if I can help, if I know what twin flames are, and if I haven't gone through this experience myself, I wouldn't have a clue how to help them. Because the second point that I really want to make you aware of, people can only meet you at the level where they've met themselves. People can only relate to what they have gone through. So and this is very much one of the reasons why I encourage a lot of my twin flame clients not to talk about their twin flame experience with people who, even their family or best friends, who will simply has never gone through anything like that, and they don't understand it. They don't understand the mirroring and the healing that they will be required to do. And they will likely just tell you, oh, he's a dickhead or she's a cow, forget about them, move on. They will not encourage you to heal, to look within, to reflect on your journey, on your childhood. So the best thing you can do is to really start connecting with people who truly, genuinely understand what you're going through, because this journey can be enormously, not only painful, but also really lonely. The term twin flame is something that isn't very widespread, and sadly not in the public domain. It has been around for years, but and it's getting bigger, and kind of more and more people are becoming more and more aware and are going through these experiences. But it is not something that an average Joe would know about. So be really careful who you talk to. connect with the people who genuinely understand you, can relate to you, and can help you. If you're seeking guidance, if you're seeking coaching, I am here for you, and I've got a lot of really powerful energy healing and psychology tools that will help you reprogram yourselves and heal a lot of those painful childhood traumas, so that you can finally live the life you truly deserve, live the life you always wanted to live, life of freedom, happiness, joy, abundance, and really the unconditional love, but not only the unconditional love towards your twin flame, but first and foremost unconditional love towards yourself. And this moves me on to a point, onto the key point that I wanted to address in this video, whether or not your twin flame can be a narcissist. So here is the thing: when you meet your twin flame and they are you've gone through the initial sort of stage of recognition and the love bubble, where you feel this enormous love without them having done anything to earn your love, your adoration. Often very swiftly you then move on to the stage of the separation and the healing, where both twin flames will be encouraged and guided to heal their core wounds individually. It's incredibly important, just so that to go through that separation and healing alone, just so that you have that focus on yourself, and without any distractions, without giving your power, your love, your energy to anybody else but yourself, because this is actually divinely designed. Because the healing it can be very painful, and it can be very kind of consuming, like very draining. So just trust that the divine source wants you to go through this alone. You will have support, guaranteed you will have support. You will be linked up to people who will be able to help you. You will come across videos and guides and meet strangers out of the blue who will be able to guide you, help you, and support you. But as far as the healing is concerned, you have to really commit to giving love to yourself and healing. Look through your timeline and go sort of heal gradually any childhood traumas, any sort of painful memories and abuse that you have gone through. And when you come out the other end, I guarantee you will feel on top of the world. It's the feeling of conquering your biggest fears, your innermost sort of demons that you never even shared with anybody else, the abuse you have gone through, and it will be so worth it. But finally, moving on to the point, can your twin flame be a narcissist? So I was speaking about when you sort of move on to the separation stage. Typically before the separation stage something occurs, you start really triggering each other with your twin flame, and that triggering is also divinely designed to help you recognize a wound within you that really needs to come to the surface, that you really need to face, heal, and release. And depending on what kind of childhood you've had, depending on what your core wounds are, this wound might be related to, might show up as a narcissistic type of abuse and behavior from your twin flame. So what I mean by this, a lot of my clients, including myself, whom I have coached, have gone through a narcissistic abuse in our childhood. For me, it was my mother, and if you have read up, anything about narcissistic childhood, you'll know that to grow up in a family where a parent or potentially both are narcissistic towards the child is enormously damaging to the child's psychology, their emotional well-being, and they basically, the signs of a narcissistic abuse includes things like your mother or father, your parent, basically they over prioritize their own needs and undervalued your needs, so much so that you as a child would have learned to basically walk around your parents on eggshells, and you would suppress your own emotional needs. You would grow up so much faster. You would try and avoid conflict with with your parents by being overly pleasing. You would be boosting your parents' confidence and helping them and supporting them and mentally even counseling them. They wouldn't do that to you in return, and you are a child. You would it's enormously abusive because you oftentimes a child of a narcissistic parent does not feel safe in a family. They don't feel like they belong. They feel abused mentally, emotionally, manipulated, and God forbid physically abused if they don't meet the expectations of a parent. I mean, the very reason why the narcissistic parent decides to have a child is because they basically have so many expectations from this child, that this child is going to basically give them the love they've never had, and will meet their emotional needs, will become their best friend, will become, and in some really toxic and horrific scenarios, there is a term of narcissistic incest, where a mother or a father who are basically not able to emotionally relate to another adult, and they may perhaps have lost their husband and wife or got divorced. They may put all of their partner expectations on their child, so it's sort of like an emotional incest, where they have it doesn't have to be a sexual kind of abuse, but emotionally they demand that their child basically becomes like their partner. They confide in them. They expect the child to console them, to boost their confidence, to meet their emotional needs, to make them happy, to behave in ways that makes the parent happy. And they basically demand that the child suppresses their own needs, their own kind of desires, how they want to express themselves in order to please the parent. Is really toxic, very damaging. So over a long period of time, the child basically learns to suppress their own being so much that they, out of fear of conflict, and this is enormously damaging, especially in the adulthood, because it leads to codependent type of relationships, where the child that has been abused has learned those behaviors of constantly and continuously suppressing their own emotional, mental, spiritual needs, physical needs, in order to have a relationship with somebody else. They constantly seek to please, but deep down, the sad truth is that deep down, the abused child is never satisfied, because you can never be happy in a relationship that is out of balance, where you're constantly the giver, where you are, your needs are never met, where you never considered. So it always backfires, and the child is always the abused child that grows up into an adult often ends up attracting toxic codependent relationships, because that's their model of love. That's their model, that the template of a relationship, of a love that they learned from their own parents. So if this is something that you have experienced in your childhood, then when you meet your twin flame, he will reflect to you, that in the early stages of the connection and of the recognition, he will often reflect you your number one core wounds, your number one, your biggest, most significant core wounds, or wounds, multiple wounds that really need addressing and need dramatic transformations and healing. This has very much been the case for me. And I've spent the last 5 years of my life healing and recovering from a narcissistic abuse, including, studying psychology and kinesiology and energy healing and many other modalities to recover from the tremendous amount of emotional, abuse that I have gone through as a child. And the thing is, when I've met my twin flame, I was really, obviously, I felt this enormous unconditional love towards him immediately, without him having done anything to deserve it, to earn it, I didn't know what was happening. I was immediately catapulted into this sort of huge spiritual awakening. I couldn't sleep. I was, suffering from depression, anxiety. I was getting flashbacks of all of my childhood traumas, and I felt like I'm reliving the nightmares of my childhood. It was horrendously painful, and thank God to my guides and people who assisted me on my journey. The teachers I've had and the coaches who really guided me and helped me understand what the hell is happening, in my life and how to heal it. I have come to a point about a year and a half ago where I finally felt that the core traumas, the core abuse sort of left my system, and I finally felt liberated from all that. And you don't have to have it as traumatic as I did. It very much depends on what you've gone through as a child. That's what you will be, that's what your twin flame will mirror back to you, and that's what you will be required to heal. So if you have experienced narcissistic abuse from your parent, or both in your childhood, then it's 100% possible, and I'm a perfect example of that your twin flame will be reflecting back to you those narcissistic behaviors that you have experienced as a child. So what are those narcissistic behaviors? So first of all, it will be very one-sided. So they will only seek you when they can get something out of you, when they will feel like you can help them in some way, shape or form. But the minute you will ask them for help, they will be nowhere to be found, nowhere to be seen. Secondly, there will be sort of a huge imbalance between giving and receiving. You will be the giver, they will be the taker. They will be basically, through their behavior, through these actions, through these physical behaviors and the relationship dynamic, they will be reflecting back to you your own inner state of being. So another example of the type of behavior you may experience is that they will be shaming you. Maybe they will talk about you to their friends and very negatively, in order for themselves to feel better, or to feel bigger, or to feel like they are the more important person who matters. Another thing, they might be telling their friends that you somehow wrong them, or that you're crazy, or that your needs don't matter, that you are somehow psycho, or that you that you sort of love them so much for no reason, that it's a crush or whatever. And they might be sort of using all sorts of manipulative tactics that will eventually kind of get back to you anyway. And it will be like flashbacks from your childhood, what your mother or your father were doing to you when they wanted to be the center of attention. and to position themselves like a victim, and get love and attention from other people, and you were the one then being abused and bullied, pushed into a corner, and basically expected to come and apologize, or expected to suppress your own emotional needs in order to avoid conflict or row or some sort of argument, or and the same thing will be happening with your twin flame. It took me a few years to understand this, because I deep down in my heart, and I'm gonna say something, it may really resonate with you, it's quite personal, but I want to share it, because if you are somebody, if you will find this video, just trust that the law of attraction will guide you to this video for some reason, and that it may help you to really understand what is going on in your life and how to heal this those traumatic experiences. But for me, it took me probably a good 2.5 years to understand what is happening, and how my twin flame is mirroring back to me my inner state of being, my childhood traumas, and then how I should be really healing them. I had a lot of doubt, because there is so much stuff out there on the internet that talks about how if a person you think is your twin flame is basically being in any way, shape or form abusive towards you, either mentally or emotionally, or somehow talks bad about you, they all say that it's a karmic relationship or a false twin flame, that it can't be a genuine real twin flame. And I highly disagree with that, because those people likely have never gone through such experience before. Maybe their journey was much more gentle, much more maybe they've had some fear or two to heal, and they don't understand that there are different levels of healing, and every single twin flame has their own journey and has their own lessons to heal and master. Oh, sorry, I'm in the forest and I was a bit spooked by some birds. But anyway, every single twin flame has their own lessons to master, and we should really allow each other to have these experiences and support one another as we go through the healing, and understand, and not name and shame and blame and judge and kind of dismiss each other's journey. So if you're somebody, what I wanted to say, if you're somebody who has been experiencing a narcissistic type of abuse from your twin flame, or a kind of reflecting from, mirroring from your twin flame, and if you genuinely, deeply within your heart know, because you will just know that they are your true twin flame, you will just know the feeling is undeniable, they will feel like home, every cell of your being will be on fire when you think of them, when you especially when you are in that love bubble stage, when you first connected and the unconditional love was activated within both twins, you would have known that this person is a sacred type of connection, is something so divine, that it's your true mirror of your soul. It's undeniable. There are many other signs how to know whether you're dealing with the true twin flames. Like probably the two biggest signs for me, and this is something that everybody out there knows and shares very widely, is that the sign number one that you're dealing with a true twin flame is that no matter how much time has passed, no matter how much time has gone without seeing each other, your love for them will grow more. You will not be able to forget about them, move on from them. And a second second sign that you have met your true genuine twin flame is that you would have gone, from the moment you have met your twin flame, you would have gone through a profound transformation in every area of your life. Like I was saying, your core wounds will be pushed to the surface to heal, and you will be really guided to liberate yourself from all of those childhood traumas and find freedom and peace and happiness within your union with yourself.